Hey, Eli here. Today I'm making this video to help you make a purchasing decision on the 85-1.4 VCM and the 50-1.4 VCM. I'm comparing them to the 50-1.2, the 28-70 f2, the Samyang 85-1.4, and the 85 Canon 1.2 RF, all RF mounts. And so yeah, anyway, I'm gonna give you information. I'm gonna give you samples from a couple session and then just some random samples from shoots. I am a wedding, portrait, commercial, and pretty much anything photographer these days. I'm about 160 shoots in this year, and it is very, very varying and different. So I shoot a lot of different scenarios. Rarely I will shoot something without people. That's why I really love Canon lenses to get their color rendition, keep them consistent along the line. So if you have the time, stick around and I'll give you a lot of information. This is going to be kind of a three-part video. I'm going to talk now, and then I'm going to show some footage of me shooting in Boise, just photos of my brother, comparing all these, and then I'm going to kind of go through some samples on the computer here. So anyway, if you want to stick around, great. If not, the quick answer for me is I think that the 85-1.4 is amazing. It is much smaller and lighter and faster and more usable than the 85-1.2. 85-1.2 is a phenomenal lens, and I bought that because I got tired of the color rendition from the Samyang being different than my Canon lenses. The Samyang is wonderful. It does limit you in your focus area and I think maybe shutter a little bit. It just sounds different when I use the aperture and all that. But anyway, so yeah, I got tired of using this. I will be selling this, and most likely I will be selling this, the 85-1.2 and the Samyang, and I'll be keeping the 85-1.4. Focus is insanely fast. Did notice that it's a little wider in field of view, which is interesting. And on the other side, we have the 50-1.4. I had planned on selling this or sending it back, but the more I used it, the more I liked it. I love the 85-1.2. It's phenomenal. This lens has been amazing since the day I bought it, and it has way more, well, more character, not way more, but it has more character and is more interesting than the 1.4 version. Color rendition is probably a little more saturation-y, I guess, in the 1.4, from what I could tell from use. I have photographed probably, gosh, I think 30 shoots with these lenses in the last 45 days. It's been a very busy season. And so I have a lot of experience with them, and I just find it's very fast, light. It is not a lot lighter, but it is smaller than the 1.2. But yeah, anyway. Also, a little history on me is I didn't use an 85 much because I was using well, for one, Samyang was a little different on color, and it annoyed me when I was doing commercial work. For weddings, there's a lot of character, really cool. But I had the 80mm on the Fuji GFX system, so that was so good that I just never found the use to pull out an 80. And at 70, this f2 is pretty amazing. So I haven't really been using primes a lot either because this is just such a fast and useful lens, 160 shoots a year. I really got to crank these shoots out. I got to be quick. Weddings are fast. Kids, when I photograph families, they're quick. So having a zoom prime that just covers most of this is pretty amazing. But this 50-1.2 does have a lot of character, so I would pretty much balance my zoom lens here and my 50 when I'm doing portraits, and then I just have a 14mm that I use. Now I've kind of graduated to the new 16 to 28, which I'm filming on right now. So yeah, that is kind of taken away the Rokinon 14mm. I use that less, but I still use it when I'm doing video because as an add-on, because I need that lens because someone else is using this lens that I'm filming on now. Anyway, so I just really haven't been using a lot of primes, but I'd like to get back to primes, so I've ordered the 35-1.4 and the 20-1.4. I've rented the 20-1.4 and it's amazing, but it'd be nice to have just a consistent across the board, same color rendition, 1.4, and the only issue is they're about the same size and feel and hand. So what I'm probably gonna have to do is just get some stickers or something and, you know, work with these lenses with some stickers so I know what's what and what I grab. And then I just put on K&F Concept UV filters. They're cheap, like 30 bucks, and I couldn't tell you the difference between a $100 B&W when it comes to that. Longevity might scratch easier if you do bump it on something, but I'm pretty careful with my lenses when I'm taking them in and out of the bag, and they're never just sitting around. So, and if I'm going through brush or something, I'll put them away and keep them protected. But anyway, yeah, enough about that. So let's get down to just really quick hands-on. I'm gonna start out with the 50s. In my samples, I'm gonna show you what these are like compared to the 28 to 70. So I'll have a picture of an 85, 1.2, 1.4, and then ideally a 28-70 at somewhat of a similar focal length, ideally. So, or 70 maxed out versus 85, because you only go to 70. So I do find that 85, now that I don't have the GFX system, which, side note, I did leave because it was too slow for me. It was super fun, but I photograph a lot, and my goal with this business is to make money and mix in as much fun as I can and try different gear. But yeah, anyway, it just wasn't keeping up with me. Focus wise, it's just so slow. It's hard to go from the Canon R5 Mark IIs or the R6 II and just go back to the GFX unless you're just trying to create art. I totally get it. Landscapes, fun. Portraits, if you're just doing portraits and it's a slow pace, great. But weddings are fast, families are fast. All of my commercial work is fast. Like I got to get in, get out, get the job done. So enough with that rant. In hand, these two lenses are not grossly different in size. I'm not going to give you weights. You can look that up, but just going to tell you what it feels like. This lens does feel a little bigger, but and on the lens it is a little heavier. But I don't know. If I had to choose which one of these to use more often, if I was at a wedding, I would definitely pick this lens right here. I did use this 50 for some commercial work, and it was super sharp, super lightweight, fast to focus. And I do think that it is a little tighter, if I remember right. I have to look well, you can look at the samples too, and I tried to keep my distance the same. I didn't tripod anything, I just handheld it, because I just want to give you that real world use stuff, if you know what I mean. Anyway, in hand, they're great. I do not use the aperture ring because it's just, I'll bump it. I got big dumb hands, and I'll bump anything that moves and doesn't have like a really tight click to it. So anyway, once you get to the A, it just stays, and then we have this right here. It's great. I think that this is the perfect aperture ring. It's endless. It moves perfectly. It's awesome. I love these rings on the end. I don't like it when the ring is up on the mount side of the camera because my memory muscle isn't there. So like 70 to 200, I don't use it for that. But anyway, I think it's a great, well-built lens. Focus, I don't manual focus. So I rarely do. If I'm photographing like a ring, I did like 12 proposals this year, and priority number one, capture that ring. And I'm generally using a macro lens, so I probably wouldn't use this for manual. Anyway, yeah, so I think it's a great lens, great design. You got the button on the side. I probably would only use this on the 85 to hold focus, maybe now and again for a 50 if I'm going to do panoramics. It's nice to have it right there and just hold it on the lens and then just make your pano and lock off that focus. So anyway, I think that's enough about this. Very, very cool lens. These are both great. Yeah, not too big of a difference in size. And then over to the 85 version. The 85 version. Love the 85. Much smaller when you compare these two. Getting the 85 1.2 out of the bag. I have a big bag, sling bag from Temba, probably one of the bigger ones, and it's just like getting it out is not easy. And so I do find myself way less likely to use it. It is also tighter field of view. I don't know if the compression is different or what, but it's just weird. That's weird. But this lens is definitely going to have a little more pop in bokeh. I probably only use hoods on 85s and telephotos, and so when you put the hood on this thing, it's massive. It's already big. This lens has gone up in value. I paid $2,100 for this lens. New, this thing is $3,300. So that also tells me I should probably sell it. So yeah, that's probably what's going to happen with this lens. Most likely. You can follow me on Instagram if you want, and you'll find out what I end up keeping. I'm sure I'll mention it in a future video too. But yeah, design on the 85 is pretty much identical to the 50, which is really cool. I think that initially when these came out, I was like, you think form over function. But these do have function. I don't think that they really compromise on the function. I know that some people don't like the distortion that is caused and has to be corrected in camera or in software, which I am totally fine with. I did love adapting lenses, but it's always best to go with the native party lens if possible. GFX, maybe someday they'll come out with like a 35-2.0 or something. Who knows? Probably not, but we can all hope. The Samyang, in comparison, Samyang it's just a good lens. It's so light. This also has gone up in value pretty significantly. I think double from what I paid for it, which is crazy. just because they can't make them anymore. So anyway, but it is a great lens, very, very well built. Side note, I do sell everything on Gear Focus. Not a sponsored video at all, but I think that they're great people. I know Bill through conversation, the CEO. He's awesome, and they take care of you. So I pretty much sell most stuff that doesn't sell on Facebook or Craigslist locally on there, and it's great. You save way less on fees, and yeah, so these both will probably end up on there because they are very niche. I live in a smaller town, 120,000 people, so the stuff like this, it's easier for me to sell online and take a small fee for it. But anyway, so I think that this Samyang was awesome. I loved using it, other than the fact that when I would do headshots, that's another thing I do a lot of too. Probably clocked in around 30 headshots this year as far as sessions. Some of them I did like 50 people. And if you're swapping between like a 50 and an 85, and you have to like go in and adjust each individual set of lenses to match, it's really annoying because you're really just trying to give them a consistent brand across the board when you're doing headshots with 50 people. So anyway, yeah, so that's enough about design. I don't know what else to mention on these other than what I just said. I'll roll in now the footage of me in Boise. Photographing. We're on our way back from Blade Show West. I have another channel called Oregon Gear Guy. You can follow here if you want. Just pause the screen. That channel is pertaining around outdoor gear. And so that's an Instagram and a YouTube. So we're out there at a knife show, just making a quick fun video and handling a bunch of knives. And so, but yeah, anyway, enough about that and these lenses. Yeah, let me know just for fun in the comments if you have bought one of these or if you haven't, but what you're using, I guess, and your favorite 85 or 50 in the Canon realm. I don't really need to know about Sony. Sony's great, but I use Canon, and I've just decided that for me, it's best to stick with one brand and just really, really nail it. And all the images that we get into in the computer will be edited by my preset, which is everything preset under thephotographerguy.com, either through the preset or through narrative, which you can now use my editing style in narrative. If you go to use any of the profiles, oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of it. I'll put it right here, the name of it. It's something Hue. They rebranded it, for one of the free profiles. So anyway, let's jump into that footage in Boise. Hey, Eli here in Boise today, just on a road trip back from Blade Show West. We are stopping here just to test out the 50 1.4 VCM from Canon and the 85 VCM 1.4. I personally own the 50 1.2 as well as the 85 1.2 and the 85 Samyang, I think it is, one of the few EF lenses that has autofocus that are third party. And so today I was going to do a real quick test with my brother. What I kind of wanted to see was, I've been using these lenses for the last few weeks at weddings and shoots and all kinds of things. I've noticed that the VCM 50 is insanely fast to focus. It's extremely sharp. I haven't tested flare so much, so that's what I'm gonna do today, and then bokeh. And another test I wanted to do was on both the 50 and the 85 was to add mist filters. I've got I think they're the black mist filters from K&F. I have a 1/4 and a 1/8. So I want to see if that will get me to the point at which I'll be happy with 1.4. A little bit of creaminess in the background or not. So I'll give you some samples in those images. I'm going to take a picture of my brother's face, and you can look at the background and pixel peep all you want. So we'll do sharpness. I don't really care so much about sharpness. I care about character and speed. So lightweight, speed are probably going to outweigh the 1.2 for me, just because I have a lot of lenses. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to test it against the 28 to 70 f2, which I use for 90% of my work. And I pretty much question, do I need a 1.4 or 1.2 when I have 2.0 that is phenomenal? Don't have to change the lens, it's just seconds. I do use the 51.2 for the character of lens flare. It's 1.2 is pretty cool. And then the 85 I recently acquired like 6 months ago. I had been using the Samyang, but I got annoyed with the Samyang's color contrasts or colors differences when I was doing commercial work. So I'd do headshots or any commercial work, and I'd throw in an 85 and it would just be off. I love the character out of it. It's great for pretty much everything except commercial work. It's not as sharp as the 1.4 or the 1.2, but it's beautiful. The background's real creative and interesting. So we're going to compare all those against, those lenses.
So, and then I will put up samples. You can just check it out, see if you like it. So I'm just trying to decide myself. I've got a window of 60 days to return to Autorama VIP, the VCM lenses. So I'll just put this camera wide on a tripod. If you want to watch this, you can. Probably just go check out the samples. And then at the end of this video, I'll do a quick synopsis of what I decided to keep and what I decided to sell or return. So, all right, cool. Just a little bit about me. If you don't know, I shoot a lot of different things. I do about 130 shoots a year to 150 shoots, 20 weddings, 50 families, about 50 commercial shoots, and then a lot of things. I don't even know if that adds up, but it's a lot. A lot of different things. But yeah, weddings, definitely, they pay the bills and I love them. But I do like to do other things to be diversified, to keep my interests in other areas. A lot of headshots. Families are wonderful. Now that I'm a dad, it's more fun. So, all right, so we're gonna shut this on, just leave the camera rolling, put it on wide, and let's put it on the tripod.
After editing this part of the video, I realized it's pretty boring. You might get a few tips of me rambling, but yeah, you don't want to watch all of it. So go download the images, the samples. I'll go through them as well at the end of this part, this section. But anyway, I put the 28-70 at 50 and I put it at 70. So 50 at the 50 millimeters, 70 at the 85 millimeters. So you get somewhat of a comparison of what it's like to just use the 70 versus using an 85 at 1.4 or 1.2. And the 70 would be at 2.0. Okay, now I'm going to run through some photos on the computer. I'm going to just kind of give you some random stuff. It's going to be so random. In my opinion, I think it is. But you can tell me if you think it's random, all the images. So, all right, let's jump into that on the computer over here. Okay, here we are. So I'm just giving you just a few images. In the download files, you'll be able to just go through and you'll see random samples, flare test, and then you've got all of the cameras here labeled. So in the files, when you download them, just keep them in here. Make sure when you import them, you add them and don't move them. Otherwise, they will not maintain their file structure. So let's just start out in Tacoma, Washington. These are edited images through, like I said, narrative. So these, it's called Universal Hue is the profile that I have sold. They purchased it from me, which is awesome. Thank you, Narrative, for that. It afforded me to buy another lens, so that was awesome. And this here is my cousin. She got married in Tacoma to Colton. So we were up there and I was able to get these lenses out kind of for the beginning of my experience with them. And so we can see here in the top here, we're getting some nice little bit of a swirl, that swirl pattern you get from a telephoto lens, which is great, which means it has some character and very sharp. I don't think I shot this one outside of 1.2. And then here we have the 50. I'm shooting through some flowers and across this little path. Very sharp, no issues at all. Again, these are edited, but not, I removed the grain. I do have a little bit of grain in my images, so anything you see is not grain that has been added. So great color rendition on the fall colors. Love it. Extremely sharp. And here we are just capturing moments. What's amazing about these lenses is they're lightweight and they focus so fast. The fastest lens focusing primes that I've ever used. So here's my uncle. He actually photographed my parents' wedding a bajillion years ago. I would say 44. Yep, 44 years ago. So really cool. I have like 20 images from that, and he's into photography, so it was fun to shoot his daughter's wedding. This is my cousin, who is also a photographer, Levi Steinmetz. He works at Boeing, but moonlights as a photographer, and he's great. And him and his wife. This is a little blurry. I must have bumped, I don't know, maybe a little bump in my shutter. But anyway, this image is just here to show you the flare pattern on the 85, right here. And the flare pattern here, you get that rainbow effect with a lot of 85s that happens. And 85, like I said, is probably the only lens, or 7200, that I would ever use a hood on, because, and these hoods are really nice, they're very small, because flare just doesn't handle well in telephoto lenses. So super crisp 85 1.4 or 50 1.4, sorry, there's the 50 1.4, and we can see we're getting a little bit of character in the prime. The 85, or sorry, the 51.2 has the most amazing character when it comes to primes. It's just amazing. It's super fun. It will destroy your image if you don't like flare, but if you love flare, it's phenomenal. Okay, I was photographing a Halloween images for this bike brand, so we just went out, did this thing. Getting a little bit of like detail photos of the bike coming in here. I'm at 1.4. Probably could have cranked that up to f2 or something, or 2.8, just to get a little more detail. But you can see here, you'll be able to download these and check them out. And this was just the tire at 1.4. And things about like chromatic aberration, things like that, I could care less about, to be honest. Doesn't really matter to me. I'm not photographing watches or anything really that it would matter. I don't even know what I focused on in this photo. Maybe here. There we go. I don't know why I included that. All right, then just the full bike photo. 1.4 and 50, and just phenomenal. You can see that contrast there is great. The sharpness is great. Again, these are edited, so that's what it's gonna look like. And here we are there, just getting the tires and the shocks and all that. And then just did some night photos. I pulled this out because I knew it would focus faster, and I was in a hurry because this it got a little breezy and this fog was just disappearing quick. I have a light here and a light here, and then a key light up on the left here, shining down on my brother's face and the bike to light it up. So it's fun to use colors, but you always want one solid daylight or main key light to get your colors right. So, and there'll be some more of these you can just kind of scroll through if you want. You know, these are all just free for you to play with and see how they look. But yeah, very sharp. For commercial work, phenomenal. Another commercial photo. This I did crank up to F5. I was photographing a restaurant, their menu, and just crisp as can be. No complaints there at all. A little bit of flare image there for you to check out if you want. And then let's jump into here. This is my cousin and her husband. So my cousin Megan, their kids, super sharp, 85, 1.4, and then a panoramic version. Is it a panoramic? Maybe, I don't know. I think it was. Yeah, it was a panoramic that I cropped probably. I don't know, maybe not. And then here, what do we have? Make sure, go to the 85. Yep, again. Yeah, they're in focus and they're in focus, which is amazing because sometimes with 85s, you'll get this really shallow depth of field. So, all right, I'm going to skip really fast through this stuff so I can get to, okay, there's an engagement. I shot a proposal there. This was an engagement session up in the mountains. And then, yeah. And then just a standard headshot in studio, unretouched. So just one quick photo there. So I want to get to, okay, these are going to be in here for you to check out from the video that you just watched. So these are just unedited. Have fun with it. Check them out for your comparisons. And then I did a couple session. So this couple session, I used these lenses here, 28 to 70, 50, 50, 85, and 85. And I did my best to attempt to make sure that these were all the same distance. So for example, here we have 85 and 85. So the 85 1.2, and then we have the 85 1.4. So we can see that's the same distance, and it's just weird that you're getting that much more out of the lens. Of course, I couldn't tell you what the actual focal length is, but you can see here, he did turn his head a little, but one eye is out of focus on the 1.2. Bokeh is going to be a little creamier. Yeah, I mean, 85 is 1.2 is just a phenomenal lens. So on the left here, we have the 1.2, on the right, the 1.4. And we can see you're going to get more bokeh. So if you want the maximum amount of bokeh possible, it is going to be the 85 1.2. If you want a usable lens that's lightweight, fast to focus, and something that you're going to completely continue to use on a regular basis, I would say the VCM is just much more usable in my opinion, and it's just so lightweight. Here we are. I think the sharpness is pretty much identical in my opinion. Yeah, just that background blur and that field of view. So look at these, play with them. That way you can have an idea of what, there's a lot of images here, more than you would ever need. So actually I'm just going to show you the ones that I'm going to, nope, yeah. So most of these will all be in there. There's some redundancy, but then flare. That is one thing that I care most about when it comes to my 50 is I love the character and the romance of flare. It's awesome. It's fun. And it's built in to the lens. So the 51.2 just has this like just beautiful, amazing flare. And the background blur is obviously a little more, yeah, it's more significant. A little tighter too on that one, which is interesting. Is it? I don't know. I can't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that there was a significant difference between those two that I could remember, but let's try these two here. compare them. Yeah, 1.4 might be a little wider. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Yeah, I'd probably not. It wasn't noticeable, I'll tell you that much. But anyway, the flare was different for sure. Look through these, check them out. Again, when you import them, make sure you don't move them, and they'll be in their folders. Another thing to note that I did say in the other video is I went and I attempted to put, well, I guess I'm done with looking at the computer. I did make an attempt to just try out like a mist filter. So I had the black mist 1/4 filter on from KNF, which I don't have any experience with. I do have it on right now. I think on one of these cameras, this camera down here has it. So yeah, I don't know. This isn't really blooming. Oh, that died, but it was blooming, I think. Let me just grab a flashlight, see what we get. Yeah, there's some bloom there. So that's 1/4. Yeah, you can see how it blooms versus down here. Let's see if I use that one. I don't know. Anyway, blah blah blah. Anyway, so I used the mist filter to see if it would like enhance the background, because you know they do make a defocus version of this, which if it has more bokeh, wow. Wild. Why even have a background, I guess, at that point? I don't know. But yeah, I just don't think that was worth it. Using the VCM didn't really make a big difference for me. So, and maybe that's not what it's for. I don't know. You know, me just trying something new. All right, cool. This video is about to be over. So if you liked it and you watched it this far, give me a thumbs up in the comments or down below. And if you want to see more of these videos, do subscribe. That does help me know that people are watching these and they do like them because they want to see more like you. And I do have the 35 on the way and the 20 mil. So I'll probably go out and make my best attempt to just do a shoot with all 4 of them. If I do keep the 1.4 50, which I think I will. Yeah, I don't know. Also, I'm going to be putting out a video on the 28 to 70 2.8, not f2, the cheaper one, $1,000 one-ish. And then the 28 to 16. I have been using those and they're pretty phenomenal. I sold my 24 to 70 f2.8 because I wasn't using it anymore. Just because when I used that was my travel lens, and now those new lenses are my new travel lenses. So pretty cool. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will catch you later.